Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to analyze and discuss David Schwartz's famous tweet in 2017 where he basically said XRP can't be dirt cheap. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to watch the previous video in this series that I'm making on XRP's price, analyzing whether XRP has to be high priced or whether XRP can operate at a low price. So I do recommend to watch the previous video I made of Brad's video, as each video in this series would be building off each other as I look into whether XRP needs to be high priced or not. So let's look at the tweet of David Schwartz. Now, in this tweet he made in 2017, November the 20th, 2017 on Twitter, he said, "It can't be dirt cheap," referring to XRP. That doesn't make any sense. If XRP costs $1, they would need a million XRP, which would cost $1 million. Talking about payments made through XRP and institutions making payments, cross-border payments with XRP, saying if one XRP costs $1, then they'll need to buy a million tokens in order to make that payment. And then he goes on to say, if XRP cost $1 million, like one XRP now just cost $1 million, then they'll just need to buy one XRP, which would again cost $1 million. And then he goes on to say, in his follow-up tweet, except that higher prices makes payments cheaper. So a higher price XRP, he's saying, would make payments with XRP cheaper. Right now, you can buy $1 million house with Bitcoins. When Bitcoins was $300, it would move the market too much and be too expensive to be practical. So higher prices make payments cheaper. And he used Bitcoin as an example. He's saying that back then in 2017, you could easily buy $1 million house of Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin was priced at just $300, okay, it was not practical to buy $1 million house of Bitcoin because it would cause too much volatility in the market. And as a result of that volatility in the market, causing the price to go up, and when you sell, dropping the price down, it would not make it practical. So it would make payments expensive. But that's what he was saying when Bitcoin was priced at $300. But back then, whatever the price of Bitcoin was in 2017, it's now possible to make a payment with Bitcoin as high as $1 million without moving the markets. So he gave this example of XRP as to why XRP can't be dirt cheap. And he was just outlining and explaining how a higher price XRP would be able to absorb high value payments better without moving the price much, providing of course there's sufficient liquidity. So as a result, it would make payments cheaper. And the example with Bitcoin was to show that Bitcoin basically has enough liquidity to handle high value payments. And when Bitcoin was at $300 per token, it would have not had sufficient enough liquidity to handle a high value payment, so it would make the payment more expensive. Ultimately, he's saying that XRP can't be dirt cheap for this reason and needs to be a high price for cheaper, high value payments to occur, and mentions hypothetically if XRP is $1 million. Not that XRP is going to be $1 million or needs to be $1 million even to operate. Now, this tweet is usually thrown around a lot in the XRP community as a way to prove that XRP has to be and will be high priced. It's as if it's used as a guaranteed piece of evidence to support a high priced XRP occurring. So how can we reconcile all this information? On one hand, if you watched my previous video, we have Brad implying XRP was initially created to have a high supply and low price. And David Schwartz in 2017 is saying XRP can't be dirt cheap. So how do we reconcile between the two of them? Now, firstly, I would just like to say that David Schwartz's tweet stating XRP can't be dirt cheap does not invalidate any of the tokenomics or adoption related reasons that can ensure XRP does remain dirt cheap. We cannot rationally ignore factors that may ensure XRP remains dirt cheap just because David tweeted it can't be dirt cheap over 6 years ago. I hope that part is clear. If we see a tweet from the creator of Dogecoin or even Elon Musk saying Dogecoin can't be dirt cheap, that does not negate the poor tokenomics of Dogecoin. It's as simple as that. And that's something I feel the XRP community tends to ignore. David comes out and says XRP can't be dirt cheap in 2017, and then all the factors that can ensure XRP can be dirt cheap is ignored. All the tokenomic factors, the velocity, the adoption related reasons surrounding XRP as to whether it would be adopted or not, all these factors are ignored and it's thrown out the window. And the only thing that matters now is that XRP has to be high priced because David Schwartz said so. And that's not how it works. It's just the way people use that tweet. It's as if it's a done deal and XRP will be $1 million because of that tweet. I have to raise my hands up and say I have been guilty of doing it before, back when I had much less understanding than I do now on XRP. But you have to grow and you can't stay stuck on ignorance when it comes to your investments. Hence why my opinions on XRP has evolved. If you've been following my content, you would see that my opinions on XRP has evolved over time based upon my knowledge. Now, another thing I would like to add is that David made those tweets in 2017, and that was pre-XRapid, which came out in 2018 and was later rebranded as ODL in 2019. Now, during that time and the early days of Ripple, I believe their strategy was to try and encourage businesses and financial institutions to use XRP directly for cross-border payments and cheaper and faster settlement. Bearing this in mind, it does put David's tweets into a bit more context when he claimed it can't be dirt cheap. Because if the strategy of Ripple was for enterprises or financial institutions to buy XRP directly, hold it, and use it when they need it for payments and settlement, cross-border payments and so on, if that strategy was successful, then you can argue XRP can't be dirt cheap, really, because the influx of money that will be coming from these enterprises, from these financial institutions to buy XRP if they did decide to adopt it and hold XRP would create a lot of demand for XRP. And it would likely then be high priced in such a situation if that strategy was successful, if used in that manner on a large scale. However, direct adoption of XRP for payments clearly didn't take off. Just look at the price today. And Ripple introduced XRapid/ODL, which is a different strategy as it does not require clients to buy XRP, hold it, and use it. Rather, with ODL, if they opt into it, Ripple handles the whole fiat conversion into XRP for their clients, transfers that from one exchange to another, and then exchanges that XRP into the recipient's currency for their clients. Now, Ripple does all that under the service of ODL. Liquidity is usually sourced on demand from a number of digital assets, including XRP. So within ODL, XRP is not the sole token that's used for liquidity. They are sourcing liquidity from a variety of digital assets, not just necessarily XRP. Even if they are using XRP, then what happens is they source liquidity from XRP, from an exchange. This happens from an exchange, and then it's transferred to another exchange probably, and exchanged back into fiat for settlement, and there is then no requirements of the clients to actually buy or hold the XRP directly. And that's how XRapid, or should I say ODL, works. XRP does not have to be bought and held. It's simply used as a cross-border asset for a buy and sell process within ODL. Also, I've noticed that if you look at David's tweets post-ODL, now remember he made that tweet pre-ODL in 2017, but if you look at his tweets post-ODL, I don't think you find anything where he pushes the idea of XRP having to be a high price again. In fact, I have come across recent tweets in 2023 where it looks like David is clearly saying the more the number of units of XRP there is, the lower the price XRP would be. Pretty much basically what Brad was insinuating too in that video talking about XRP creation. And then David further goes on to explain the benefits of XRP having a high number of units compared to Bitcoin is that it reduces the risks of making payment mistake errors, as you won't have to play around with decimal points. and I can go through the tweets. He says, I think it's nearly certain that there's, and he made this tweet by the way in April the 8th, 2023, last year. I think it's nearly certain that there's an inverse correlation between the number of units of XRP or almost any other asset in existence and its price. So an inverse correlation between the number of units and its price. If you compare an alternate universe where there's 50 billion XRP units instead of 100 billion, the price would probably be about twice as much. So he's clearly saying if the supply of XRP was less, the price would have been doubled. If it was half the supply, the likelihood the price would have been twice as much. But that means everyone would have paid twice as much for it as well. And if you take it to an extreme and only have, say, 20 million XRP in total, similar to the supply of Bitcoin, then the numbers become more difficult for humans to deal with. So he's clearly saying here, implying that the lower the supply of XRP, the higher the price would likely be. There's an inverse correlation between the number of units of a token in existence and its price. Common sense, basic tokenomic stuff. What's the easier price for humans to understand the magnitude of? 19 XRP or 0.00034 Bitcoin? And how much easier is it to accidentally type 0.0034 Bitcoin instead of 0.00034 Bitcoin, compared to typing 190 XRP instead of 19 XRP, an $85 error? So as if he's also explaining the benefits of having a high supply token because you're less likely to make payment errors. Now, how do you reconcile between David saying in 2017 XRP can't be dirt cheap and comparing it to Bitcoin, to also saying in 2023 that the higher the number of units of XRP, the lower the price would be, and even admitting that if the supply of XRP was lower, like 20 million, then how high the price would go would be unfathomable. Also, he compared it to Bitcoin as well in 2023, but this time selling the benefits of a lower price XRP due to having a higher supply in reducing payment errors. So what's changed? Because in 2017, the supply of XRP was still 100 billion, yet it couldn't be dirt cheap. But in 2023, the supply is 100 billion, and he understands the higher the supply of XRP, the lower the price is likely to be, which he further explains the benefits of a high supply in reducing payment errors. So what's changed from then until now? Nothing's changed with the supply of XRP, just Ripple's business model as far as I can tell. Also, I find it funny how everyone shares the 2017 tweets of David, but no one shares the 2023 tweets where David admits there is an inverse correlation between the supply of XRP and the price. And if it had a lower supply like Bitcoin, it would have a much higher price today, according to David. I'm going to end this video by leaving you with David Schwartz in a recent Twitter space trying to explain what he meant by the tweet he made saying XRP can't be dirt cheap. He kind of contradicts himself as he now claims the price of XRP doesn't determine whether payments are cheap or expensive. But in his 2017 tweet, he was claiming that higher prices makes payments cheaper. But what I think he was really trying to say in 2017, but muddled it all up, is that high liquidity is what makes payments cheaper with XRP, not necessarily a high price or market cap per se, because an asset can be high priced with a high market cap and still have low liquidity. Liquidity is not necessarily determined by the price of an asset or its market cap, as the price alone does not determine liquidity. So liquidity is the key factor here, the factor that would decide whether payments made through XRP are cheap or not. And what we do know at the moment is XRP is not liquid enough for high value payments. Whether that changes in the future is yet to be seen. Anyways, I would leave you with David trying to clarify in 2024 what he meant back in 2017 with his tweet.
In the past, I believe you stated that XRP cannot be cheap. What did you mean by that? Did you mean like dollar amounts?
As far as what I meant, so there's a specific quote that kind of annoying to me because it's been
Yeah,
repeated by many people taking out of context.
like
But let
me.
me be, yeah. So to be very clear about what I was saying in the quote that I was talking about, um, the cost of XRP doesn't directly impact the cost of a payment. So in other words, if I want to buy something from you and the value of that thing is, let's say it's the equivalent to $1 million US, like the amount of XRP, the price of XRP is going to determine if I'm going to pay you an XRP. The price of XRP will determine how much XRP I have to give you, but it won't make the payment any cheaper or more expensive, right? If the price of XRP is very high, I'll give you fewer XRP, but it'll cost me more to get them. And if the price is low, I'll have to give you a lot of XRP, but I paid less for each one. So there's no such thing as like cheap XRP making payments cheap or expensive XRP making payments expensive. And that's the point that I was trying to make there, that the price of XRP doesn't determine whether payments are cheap or expensive. But what does happen is, in general, the higher the sort of market cap of the asset, it's not so much the price per unit, but the market cap does impact the ability to use the asset for payment. So for example, let's say I wanted to buy a house that was worth $1 million USD and I wanted to use Bitcoin to do it, right? Back when Bitcoin was like $100, you couldn't realistically use Bitcoin to pay $1 million because the market didn't have enough liquidity. Like if I wanted to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin back then, I would have pushed the price up. And then when I gave the $1 million worth of Bitcoin to you, let's say to buy your house, when you go to sell those, you would push the price down. So you would take a loss on the buy and I would take a loss on the sell, and that would make the payment suck for both of us. But today, I can buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin without moving the market, and you can sell $1 million worth of Bitcoin without moving the market. So the higher, it's not so much the price, it's more the market cap, but really it's not quite like a higher price tends to mean a higher market cap, and a higher market cap tends to mean higher liquidity. It's really more like the sort of availability of liquidity that determines how easily you can use an asset for payments when you don't have closed loops. But what is meaningful is how expensive or how much it cost me to sort of convert. And especially for big payments, like if you want to make $1 million payment, it has to be that $1 million buy or sell of XRP doesn't move the market a lot, because if you move the market, it's always going to be against you, right? Moving the market always means it's going to cost you more to buy, or you're going to get less when you sell. So if you're moving the market, it's going to effectively a tax. As the Bitcoin ecosystem has grown, Bitcoin has become better and better for payments. And the irony is people are using it less and less, but it's not because it's not suitable for payments. I have to say, one of the things that perplexes me the most about this space is that people are not using digital assets for payments, even though they work for payments better than they ever have. And that's just not that's not any one particular. Obviously, there's some reason. Bitcoin, you might argue, well, the transaction fees, it's kind of slow. Ethereum, you might argue, well, payments it's a little expensive, it's a little slow. But even other blockchains that are fast, not just the XRP ledger, they've not gotten as much traction as I would like to see them get in the payment space. And that's the problem that Ripple has been like working the hardest to solve for, since 2015, when we decided to focus on payments. We've been trying to sort of get payments into the cryptocurrency space. And it's still baffling to me that we haven't been more, that nobody in this space has been more successful than they have. Obviously, I wouldn't say that we've been unsuccessful, but it's just baffling to me that there isn't broader adoption. Like, why aren't people using cryptocurrencies for remittances more than it's kind of puzzling to me.
Do you think people are not using XRP for a payment because it's cheap?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, like, whether it's cheap or expensive, if I want to pay you $100 worth of XRP, I can get $100 worth of XRP for $100. I can sell it. I can send it to you. There's enough liquidity that I can buy it and you can sell it without moving the market.